This video will provide a comprehensive overview of the 886 leveling strategy with a foundation in the underlying principles. Before we begin, a short note on notation. When we use shorthand like 886, we are referring to the levels in the same order as shown at the top of the screen: attack, magic, then life. This shorthand can refer to the entire run or to any specific point within the run. When referring to a specific point within the run, we mean exactly that, with the exception of exiting a palace. When exiting a palace, we are referring to the levels you should have after applying points awarded by the gem, not when you literally walk out the door. So let's begin with the principles. The most fundamental principle to any speedrunner is to keep moving. Skip as many enemies as possible and kill only when you need to. Kills themselves should be quick, your combat style fast and aggressive. The best way to promote that is to prioritize attack. Unfortunately, attack is the most expensive of the three attributes, so we'll need to use the gems to help pay for them. It doesn't make sense to use the gems anywhere else. And as a bonus, this will also maximize the free XP we earn off the gems, which we want to do anyway. But if we really want to maximize that gem XP, then we should pay for the early attack levels on our own and apply the gems towards the later attack levels. What about these life and magic levels? If we're skipping enemies and otherwise prioritizing attack, it doesn't seem like we'd buy too many of them. On the other hand, these early levels are pretty cheap, so it seems like we should buy some of them. But how many and when? Turns out there's a principle we can apply here as well, and it has to do with the gems. Casual players typically think of the gems as giving a free level up. That's not technically accurate. What the gems do is pay the difference between your current XP and your current next level cost. Now keep in mind, there are always three next level costs in effect, and we want attack to next level cost to be the one showing when we place the gem. This means we're going to incur a buyout cost in every palace. When you start the game, your buyout cost is 100. You have to earn at least 100 XP to get the menu and skip magic in order to switch next level to attack. The buyout cost serves as a penalty for having the gem pay for your most expensive level up. Two things about the buyout cost. The first is that the buyout cost is in addition to any other levels you buy prior to placing the gem. That's simply because when you buy a level, your XP goes back to 0, and next level switches back to the cheapest cost, which puts you back at 0 as far as paying the buyout. The second thing is that, and this is the real kicker, any levels that you take in life or magic permanently increase your buyout cost. This means that as far as speedrunning is concerned, the true cost of life and magic levels may far exceed their face value. Which brings us to our next principle. Keep life and magic low and level them up only as necessary. Note that it's only the higher of the two costs between life and magic that matters. If you have life 3, then your buyout is already 400, so you may as well have magic 2. Note also how, viewed in increasing order, these costs alternate between life and magic. This means that when we do take life and magic levels, we should do them in alternating fashion starting with life. Once we reach attack 8, the strategy changes. Gems don't say what you have to do with the XP they give you. So now we're going to use them to get that 9,000 XP payout for attack, which we can then use to buy several life and magic levels at once. This gets us around the buyout cost problem, but it won't happen until late in the game. This could be considered its own principle, but it also fits under maximizing gem payout. So let's get into the actual strategy. Our primary concern in the early game is to focus on attack while the level up costs are cheap and get that P1 gem to pay for attack 4. It requires 700 XP for the attack levels, plus an additional 100 for the buyout at Magic 2. There are barely enough points to do this, and earning all 800 will require at least one 200-point P-Bag drop in P1. So making it to 411 does depend on P-Bag luck. A little note about my notation on the right-hand side. This is a simple reference. Rather than tell you the buyout cost, I'm telling you the amount of XP you need entering the boss fight. This is the way runners typically think and talk about it, and it's easier to think this way in the moment. Death Mountain is done before P2 for at least a couple of reasons. First, you can only get downstab after completing Death Mountain. Downstab allows faster kills and more enemy skips, so we definitely want that before P2. Second, it will allow us to buy one more attack level before placing that gem, which fits in with the principle of maximizing gem payout. This is the longest stretch between any two gems, and it allows us to buy a few life and magic levels in addition to attack 5. We stop at life 3 due to escalating buyout costs. This creates a total XP requirement of 2500 between the P1 gem and the P2 boss. There will be 4, maybe 5 large drops during this sequence, so bear in mind that P-Bag luck has significant impact on your ability to meet this requirement. You should never assume P-Bag luck will be good. Buying attack 5 and getting the gem to pay for attack 6 is much more important than these life and magic levels. I personally consider life 3 to be a question mark, meaning that I do the level ups in the order shown here. Life 2, magic 2, attack 5, then life 3. I may end up deferring life 3 to P3. If you have attack 4 out of P1, it's safe to buy all 3 of these levels first, but you may end up having to kill extra enemies in P2, which is never desirable. Palace 2 is your XP buffer. If your P-Bag luck is good, you'll be ahead on XP and should skip more enemies. If it's bad, you will need extra kills to catch up. If you don't make it to attack 4 out of P1, you will have to earn this additional 1000 XP on your own. Buying everything would be a total requirement of 3500, which is too much. In this scenario, I consider both Magic 2 and Life 3 to be question marks. Deferring both will reduce the requirement to 3000, which is much more doable. You will need to kill more enemies to make up the difference, and will get 1 or 2 additional large drops. The impact of P-Bag luck will be roughly the same. The only difference is that now, P2 no longer offers you any buffer. Some speedrunners will say that you shouldn't even take Life 2 before working on the attack levels, and to some extent they're right. If you deferred all 3 of these levels, killed everything, and got only red jars for your drops, you could still fall short of the buyout. What you choose to do will depend on your comfort level with Death Mountain. Just keep in mind that every life or magic level taken early in an attack 3 run increases your risk. It's not a big deal to defer levels. Deferring levels always saves you XP because it lowers your buyout in the current palace without increasing it in the next palace. P3 has more than enough points to make up the difference. The thing to understand about an attack 3 run is that your leveling should be caught up by the end of P3, not P2. P3, P4, and P5 all follow the same principle. 1 level up per palace, and we're going to follow the prescribed pattern of alternating life and magic. XP shouldn't be a problem for P3 or P4. In P5, we'll need 1400 points before the boss, all from inside the palace. That sounds like a lot, but P5 is so big and there are so many enemies that we need only 2 Moggle kills and or large P-Bag drops. If you get at least 2, you're good on XP and guaranteed to reach the buyout at Magic 5. Do not stop to kill Moggos. Only take the quick jackhammer kills when they spawn in front of you. You should be able to get 2 or 3. If you're on your way back through this false wall and haven't gotten your first Moggo kill or 200-point P-bag yet, this is the time to get a little concerned. Don't forget about the enemies we normally skip near the end of this palace. Notice that in P4, we already reached attack 8, so the P5 gem is going to be the first time we go on our 9,000 XP shopping spree. Buy 2 life levels and 2 magic levels, that's it. Do not buy life 7 even though you have the XP to pay for it. Doing so would prevent you from reaching the buyout at Magic 7. You would be taking 2,500 XP now to forego 5,500 later. P5 exit is going to leave you with 3,300 out of a buyout of 3,500 with no other levels to buy. This means a significant amount of XP is wasted in Palace 6. This is one of the drawbacks of 886, but there's not much to be done about it. Once out of P6, we use 3,500 to buy Magic 7 and leave the remaining 5,500 towards Magic 8. That leaves us with only 500 to earn on our own, most of which will come from Valley of Death. GP is not worth very much in terms of XP. It doesn't have that many enemies, and the large ones aren't worth killing. Ideally, you want to enter GP above 5,900, kill no large enemies, and take the Magic 8 level up on this Crumble Bridge. That guarantees your magic refill right before the Thunderbird fight. If you are coming to this point in the game and do not have full magic and have already taken your Magic 8 level up, you have a few options. If you think your magic is okay, you can charge ahead anyway. Just make sure you have enough to cast Thunder. If you want full life and magic for the fight, go ahead and take a Death Abuse on this Crumble Bridge. If you've already taken Magic 8, need the refills, and you feel that a Death Abuse is not an option, then as a last resort, you can go left after dropping down this pit. There are 2 50-50 jars over here. Hopefully at least one of them is a jar. Just be careful that you don't spawn one of these red bird knights without being able to get away. That's it for 886 leveling. Hope you enjoyed.